Hey everyone, it's Francis Brew. My apologies, I couldn't. I tried to join the live reunion thing.
All right. Hey guys, I'm gonna leave to make way for Francis Brew. Kiko, here he comes.
San si Kiko?
There.
Ayun! Hey, Kix!
Kiko.
Kiko, you're on.
My internet connection was terrible. I tried two networks and both failed today. It's one of those things. Obviously, I have a lot of stories to share, so I'll just share two stories, which is when I first joined and then when I joined again. The first time was a few months after NU107 opened. I replaced a guy named Mark Noodle. His real name's Jun Sabihon, which is how he got his name, and I do wonder where he is now. And it all began, well, before that, because John Gregory, or GJ, Jerry Driss and I were very good friends in De La Salle University. We had the same interests. We all loved guitars. We loved bands. We dreamt of becoming rock stars. We dreamt of becoming radio DJs because we were such huge fans of 99.5 RT. GJ was the first to land a job as a radio DJ. I think 99.5 RT had an AM rock counterpart to compete with RJAM, which is another station that I love. Fast forward when NU107 was being formed, because Mike Pedero was part of 99.5 RT. He was one of our heroes also, one of our radio heroes. GJ was the first in from the three of us, and then Jerry followed, and I think we all trained in 99.5 RT when it wasn't doing that well. I remember training for free during the graveyard shift. I did it for about a month, and then eventually I got a call from Jerry Santos, from Jerry Y, and he was like, "Hey man, what are you doing? We need you over here, man. Come on, yeah, blah 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 blah." So I joined the team. Yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5, 6 months after the station started, and I was with NU107 until I think it was 91, early 92. Then I got fired because I was part of the Dawn. So at that point, I achieved two of my dreams: to become a radio DJ and become a proper professional rock musician. And it was my fault that I got fired the first time because I was so focused on and living, the fantasy of being a rock musician, that I did take board work for granted. And there'd be lots of times where I wouldn't show up for work without telling anybody. And Chris Cruz was the station manager at the time. And one day he set me aside and he said, we like you, we no problem with the personal, etc., etc., but we're having problems with you not showing up for board work, and I'm afraid we'll have to let you go. And I didn't really feel bad about it because I knew it was my fault. And Chris was so nice about it and so professional about it that there were really no hard feelings at all. I deserved it. I earned that firing. But we all still remain very good friends because that's how NU always is. If you're a good person, you're part of the family forever. And well, that's part one. Okay. Part two is when I rejoin the station, and that's coming up in a bit.
Hi, you guys. Hey, my name is Janet, and I'm recording this from Hong Kong, where I live now. So I hope you guys are having a good time and you're all enjoying this little trip down memory lane. Um, Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are really going to remember me because so I was at NU from pretty much the first week of operations in 1987 up until I left the country in 1996. So that was like 9 years of my life. Yeah. But the thing is, the first few years of those, I was just kind of hanging around the station for no good reason. So you never heard me, you never knew anything about me. Up until 1993, when Chris Hermosissima, who was the station manager at the time, hey Chris, he kind of looked at me in the corner and said, "You know what? We need a new newscaster. And since you're here all the time, you might as well make yourself useful." And so that's what I did. I started doing the afternoon news called the 2020 News from 1993 up until late 1995 or so. And yeah, so does anyone remember the 2020 News? We called it that because it happened at 20 past the hour and again at 22 the hour, right? So 2020. And in my mind, anyway, I thought that it also gave people like 2020 vision into events at the time, right? Yeah, maybe just a little, or at least I tried. Anyway, so yeah, and you. It just went through so many incarnations and it just meant so many things to so many different people. It was just the most fun that a kid could have without getting into any trouble at the time, I think. And I will just always be grateful to Chris Cruz, to Mike Pedero, and to Sir Atom Henares for giving this like little runaway kid a chance at being a part of this just amazing episode of Philippine broadcast history. Um, I also want to say thanks to Claire Miranda. Hey, Claire. She held my hand through my first few broadcasts when, like, every time the mic came on, it's like I couldn't breathe. It's just, she taught me so much about becoming a better broadcaster, and I will just always be thankful. Um, I also think that the fans should be thanked. We relied so much on you, and the fans were the lifeblood of NU from the very beginning and up until now, like 10 years after it went off air. You guys just kept us alive and kept the passion and the music and the memories of NU alive all these years, and so we can't thank you enough. I hope you guys are all having a great time and having a great weekend and staying safe and staying sane in this crazy new world that we find ourselves in. And just keep on rocking, guys, because, rock and roll, it's going to outlive us all. Have a great weekend. Thanks again for listening. And mwah, love to you all.
Hi from the UK. It's gonna be 3:30 when you guys go live for part two, but I just wanted to say congratulations, Marceline, for your viral part one, bringing together Claire, Thelma, Ron, and Joyce, Myrene, Quark, and Charlie. Honestly, I'm not sure if anyone remembers the News Gnu. No, good news is good news. But I'll always remember the home of new rock. I was one of those listeners who auditioned and got a call back from Ron and Claire for the morning show. And I'm so lucky to have worked with you. Can't wait to hear from Francis Brew, Roxy, Mondo, Lucy Myra. So exciting to see this next one with GJ's batch as well, Jerry Driss and Major Tom. I never met them, but I always tuned into you guys even before NU moved to Pasig. Thanks so much for the craziest, funnest, best 1990s ever. Home and New Rock, NU107.
Okay, part two of the story. When I rejoined, it was. I don't quite. For some reason, I don't quite remember when In the Raw started, but it was probably around 2007, 2008. Claire got in touch with me because they were thinking of creating a show where demos can get airplay. because from almost from day one, NU107 has always accepted original music from unsigned bands. That goes back to when the station first started, and obviously the submission of demos never stopped. And by the way, I don't think NU107 has been given due credit by the media the head media organization in the country for doing its part in always playing original Filipino music, original Filipino rock music at least. You know, NU deserves a lot of credit for that. And well, anyway, so Claire said, they're thinking of putting up a show so that all these demos can be heard, and they also believed it would be nice if someone could make comments on it. And because I've had radio experience, I worked in NU, and I am an active at that point. I still am an active musician, but I was an active musician even at that point. So I had the musician's insight and the radio experience because training someone to talk behind a microphone, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So from there, In the Raw was born, and then I joined the air team then on a regular basis, and I was with NU107 until the date closed. Regardless of the generation of DJs that were part of NU107, the best ones that got along well with each other, the ones who stayed, we all felt the same way. We felt like misfits, like we belonged. We weren't sure where we belonged, but we did know that we belonged in. There's just a spirit with NU107 that if you stick around, it is family and always will be. And all the jocks from the beginning until the end. And there are some that haven't joined the reunion yet, like Ron T and Joyce. Diego Castillo was a very important part of NU107 history as well. Hopefully they can also be part of this. I hope this is just the beginning of us reconnecting with each other, even if it's online. Because obviously some of us have seen each other over the years face to face, and even now that's not a possibility. So to everyone who continues to love NU107, the rest of us still love it too. And honestly, I still have dreams where I'm on board in a new location of NU107, and that dream becomes a nightmare because in the dream I don't have my playlist. Then I panic and then I wake up. Anyway, I'll see you guys again soon. All right, take care, stay safe, stay healthy.